is everyone? Hi. It's Anna Walker from Anna Walker Designs and stabthingsintoexistence.com. And I'm coming to you from the home studio today from my desk instead of my work table and from my laptop instead of my iPad. But you know what? You can see the stacks of books and the drum carter over here and spools of thread on the wall and all of the stuff everywhere that drive my mother absolutely crazy. But this is where I feel good. This is where I feel um, creative. This is where I feel comfortable. And from this position, which is at one end of my studio, I can look out upon the beauty that is all of the fiber and the yarns and the beads and the creations and the supplies waiting to be turned into things of beauty. So this is a happy place for me, and I hope it becomes a happy place for you as well. Today, I was struggling with what to come to you with, but then it hit me. Inspiration. Where do I get my inspiration? Well, you see the books back here. Whoops, wrong side. The books back here. Well, that's not all of them. Okay. Um, I used to manage a bookstore. I've been a bibliophile since I was knee high to a grasshopper, as old farts like me would say. Um, and I was that kid that would be caught under the covers with a flashlight with a book after lights were out and be told, Anna Marie, get to bed. It's time to go to sleep. Um, so yeah, that was me. So books are some of my most precious possessions, and I pulled out a few to show you to let you get an idea of where I find my inspiration, because it's not always books about felting. In fact, most times it's not books about felting at all. It's just places where I get some inspiration that help me figure out the next thing that I want to felt. Okay? But the first one is a book about felting in a way, not the felting that I do, but using craft felt and cutting out shapes and creating things. But the visuals are so good in this book that it will give you wonderful ideas and, kind of subversive ideas for things to create. It's called Zombie Felties, and it's by Nicola Tedman and Sarah Skeet. Oh my gosh, isn't that too cute? Look at the little thriller here. Isn't he awesome? This gives you a really, sorry, I'm getting used to this camera. This gives you a really good example of some things that you could create from needle felting. I'm going to turn it over so you can see the back as well. Aren't those cool? Now, this goes through step by step with, pattern pieces that you can cut out and then stitch together. That's not why I like it. I like it because it gives me great inspiration for little creatures that I might be able to create with needle felting. Okay, so this is a wonderful little fun book. I do know that there are other Felties books out there. I think there's one on Marvel characters. I know there's one on Star Wars characters, and there may be others as well. And I think they're by the same authors, but I couldn't tell you that for sure. But Zombie Felties is definitely a fun little inspiring book. Now, for another book that I have that I got mostly because I like the title of it, it's called Anti-Craft, Knitting, Beading, and Stitching for the Slightly Sinister. This has got some wonderful projects in here. But, ideas like this heart. I mean, how cool would that be needle felted, right? It's kind of like a milagro, only, making it very sinister looking. And there's some other projects in here as well, a lot of garments, but some really cool ideas that get you thinking outside the box. So, Anticraft for the Knitting, Beading, and Stitching for the Slightly Sinister by Renee Rigdon and Zabit Stewart. Definitely a good inspiration book to have on hand. Now, this next one is about felting. It's called Embellished, Stitch, and Felt, and it's by Sheila Smith. Sheila Smith is an artist that I've followed for a number of years, and I've followed her because partly of the felt work that she does. She gives it a new look, and she thinks very much outside the box. And to give you an idea, this is a project that is, you know, in the book and outlined in the book of using bits and stuff of leftovers and creating a beautiful woven mat, rug, placemat, scarf, whatever you want to call it. But this picture in particular is what inspired me to pick up a number of spools of Noro pencil roving so that I can play with this kind of a lattice design over and over again in different colorways. But Embellished, Stitch, and Felt, it's really a good resource book to have on hand and great eye candy to give you some inspiration. Next, we have a book by a Kansas author, and it's a coloring book. Right? Coloring book. It's called Soul Expressions by Jancy Pettit. And I got this at Leaping Llama's Artisan Shop here in Topeka, 700 block of South Kansas Avenue here in downtown. And I like this because it's not your average coloring book. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. I mean, these are not, and I'm just going to flip through and show a couple of them. These are not, your normal coloring book pages. There's an awful lot of darkness in there, and it almost has a scribble kind of look to it. There's something very freeing about this. It allows me to see a pattern within a scribble that you wouldn't necessarily see. Some of them are a lot more open, like this one, but for the majority of them, they're these dark patterns. And that helps me look at a piece of felt that I'm creating in a different way and not necessarily, being ginger about putting in color, being too precious in my thought process. This gives me a little more freedom about just sort of Jackson Pollocking it, throwing the colors and throwing the textures down and having some fun with it. But Soul Expressions, I mean, yes, it's a color book, but it's also very freeing for looking outside the box when you're looking at designing something. So another one that I can recommend. These last two are the last one's a color book as well, and it's more of a traditional color book, but with a twist. This one is a book called Dangles, and it's by Olivia, is it Niebler? Yes, Niebler. Now, I got this book because I want to practice with my handwriting a little bit more. I have a very good friend, Gail Nation, who is the world's best hand lettering expert, as far as I'm concerned. And I have gotten better about thinking about my handwriting and using it as an artistic medium. But I like this Dangles book because it takes and it gives you some ideas for how you might mix it up even a little bit more with some design and some pattern and adding color to it, even to give you some beautiful ideas for using your lettering. I'm going to try and get to, there we go, there's some bringing, your lettering to the decorative aspect of things. I mean, the Dangles are just sort of organized doodles. And I've doodled for years. I mean, I have notebooks from college and from high school that, show some of the doodling that I did while I was supposed to be taking notes. But this gives you a really good idea. I mean, look at that, Imagine. Wouldn't that make an amazing wall hanging, and do the letters in wool covered wire to get the letters to take shape and to hold shape, and then to do the dangles with felted pieces that you had needle felted together and then added on with either thread or string or ribbon or, whatever. But wouldn't that be amazing? I mean, it's just a beautiful way, once again, to think outside the box. But if you didn't want to do this as a wall hanging, imagine using this as a needle felted embellishment for a wall piece or for a banner that you want to hang up in the window. I'm just loving looking at the different ways that I can take words and make them into art. And Dangles helps me look at that. Definitely another book for inspiration and thinking outside the box. Now, this last book I want to show you has a little story behind it. I was helping mom get purchase the last few Christmas gifts last year for the great grandchildren. She had like 3 or 4 to get. So we were in Walmart. And mom was in the toy aisle and she has a budget and we're looking for different ideas. And the book rack next to the children's area had some sticker books and it had some coloring books. And I noticed this coloring book and I had to get it. And I had to get it for a couple of reasons. The first reason is just the Bob Ross coloring book. I mean, how could I go wrong, right? Bob Ross is known to so many, if not all of us, as the guy who painted happy little trees and who said there's no such thing as mistakes, only happy accidents. And I love looking at his paintings and I love watching his process. Watching Bob Ross is very meditative. Um, it's very soul calming. It's his voice. It's his ability to just work in that 30 minutes to create that painting and show just how easy it is once you let go. And the page that I'm going to show you is one that I will be working to create in a wet felted painting. This is my inspiration, but I love the quote that's next to it as well. So that's the painting that's on the page, okay? And just a beautiful little landscape with a wonderful little brook right there in the center, some trees, beautiful trees in the background, and green. I'm imagining greens of all sorts in the landscape. But what I love the most is the quote of his that's right next to it. You have unlimited power here. You can do that. You can do anything on this canvas, anything. And that is the quote that I want to leave you with when it comes to your felting. Thanks to my friend Bob Ross. May he rest in peace. You can do anything with felting. You can create sculptures that bring you joy or bring a smile to a friend or a family member's face. You can create paintings that you can hang up on the wall and that can make you feel just so calm and serene because they're felted paintings of a place that you absolutely love to visit. You can create small little words of encouragement and you can put them on felted rocks or you can create little banners to hang them up in your home or give to a friend to hang in their home. You can do anything you want. The imagination is yours to take wherever your journey is going to take you. You can do that. So on this Friday, that's what I'm going to leave you with. I will see you all next week on Wednesday. I'm not going to be live on Monday and Tuesday because I'll be helping mom with getting to some early morning doctor's appointments out of town. So I hope you have a lovely weekend and go be creative. Go stab something into existence. And we'll talk next week. Bye bye.